Street Fighter V. Does it suck? Let's talk about it.
What's up, my peeps? It's the turtle smashing, dragon punching, titan smashing, zombie blasting, race car drifting, multiplayer butt whipping, the collector of coins, rings, looms, rupees, and tanukis. I got food for self, emeralds for wealth, and med packs for health. I got the double jumps, turbo boost, time freezes, and invincibility. Leveled up all of my abilities. I run Vice City and made the Mushroom Kingdom better, and I am the first human Spectre.
This is Mastermind, and welcome back. What's going on, peeps? Mastermind here. Okay, so Street Fighter V has been out for one full day, and already I have a ton of things I want to talk about, so let's get started. First thing is, let me mention, since they announced Street Fighter V, anybody who's been following my channel, you know that I've been covering every inch of this game, every bit of information, any trailer. I've done breakdowns. When the betas came out, I put tons of gameplay footage of me playing and learning the system, and I've done a lot of discussing on it, just a whole ton of stuff on Street Fighter V. In some ways, I've kind of neglected other games and posting other games because I'm just so focused on Street Fighter V. This that I've been waiting for months and months and months, and it's finally here. And through all the beta phases and everything, I started feeling like, okay, here we are, and this is going to be great. So as far as the fighting system goes for Street Fighter V and the way it plays, I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's really well done, and I know initially a lot of people had problems because it wasn't like Street Fighter 4, and it was the same thing when Street Fighter 4 came out. That wasn't enough like Street Fighter 3, and so on and so forth. But if you take a look, if we go from Street Fighter 1 to Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter Alpha Series to Street Fighter 3 and then Street Fighter 4, all of them were so different from the past iterations as far as certain mechanics. I mean, it wasn't totally different, but enough to where it really affected how the pros and veteran players would approach how to play. As far as that's concerned for Street Fighter V, I like it. I have no problems. I'm glad that they took some risks, and I can't wait to really get into it more and learn more. So that isn't an issue that I have whatsoever, because I'm going to be playing this game for a long time. With all of that said, here are my problems. First problem, let me touch on what I just said. They reworked the game, and according to Capcom, what they've said was, hey, we're resetting the tournament bracket. So if you were really, a great tournament player, we're resetting that because we want to really get new players into this. They set up the online system to kind of represent like a League of Legends sort of concept and idea of how they want everybody to play, how they want all of this integrated. They really want not a League of Legends, but an esports kind of vibe. How are you going to reset the brackets when you give all the tournament players copies of the game before it comes out? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. So here you're going to have these pros who already have an advantage, and the system isn't that much different than what it used to be, to where they're not just going to be able to pick up and be pretty good. This game was available for a lot of streamers, a lot of pro players before anyone else got a chance to play it. So it's kind of already given the people who already have an advantage a higher advantage. Now, I'm not bitter about this. I really don't care. I do think it's sort of a contradiction, and I think I know why. The casual market isn't embracing this game. The casual market isn't embracing Killer Instinct. The casual audience is embracing Mortal Kombat and Smash Brothers, because those two games have gimmicks that appeal to a wide range of people. Mortal Kombat has the ultra violence and the fatalities, and that's not all it has, but that's the casual market zoning in on that. And the casual market is also zoning in on Smash Brothers because of the iconic characters and all of the Nintendo goodness that's in those games. Of course, that's not all Smash Brothers has, but again, that's what the core casual audience, which is the larger audience that they're looking to capture, that's what they're focusing on. So Killer Instinct has made strides to try to capture some of that casual audience with their combo assist mode and a lot of the tools that they give you to learn the system and learn the fighting game. And, you know, it's taken a while for them to kind of build up to where they're at. But I think right now we're approaching the peak of what Killer Instinct is going to be. Mortal Kombat, they focused on everything for the casual audience and really left out the hardcore people in a lot of ways. So, for instance, the netcode. The casual audience don't really care about the netcode so much. They're going to go on there, they're going to, you know, earn some coins and go to the crypt and unlock a couple of cool costumes or a couple of cool this and that and artwork. And, you know, they're going to go through the story mode and then they'll play a couple of matches with their friends and then they're done with it. And it doesn't matter because NetherRealm is like, hey, you know, we just made our millions and millions of dollars and, you know, it's a success. And now we do the combat packs where we have Jason, Leatherface, Alien, Predator, and we have all these iconic new characters that are coming into the thing with new fatalities and brutalities and all of this stuff, and everyone is hooked. They release an old retro stage, the Pit 2, everyone is, yes, this is what we want. Casual audience is chewing this shit up. Smash Brothers is the same thing, you know, Bayonetta and Mega Man and Sonic, and any person who grew up playing 8 and 16-bit games are drooling every time there's a new announcement for Smash Brothers. You would think that Capcom would have learned something from that. And I don't think they really have. Even when you look at Killer Instinct, which is not as popular as the other fighting games, just what they're doing with Season 3, with bringing on Rash and Arbiter and other guest characters, you know that they got to start appealing to a different market. So getting with Street Fighter V, they have their own iconic characters right there. They have Ryu, they have Chun-Li, Ken, and a lot of people know and they are familiar with these characters. Then you also have a lot of the art style and the graphics of Street Fighter is very appealing to a wide audience. So in that sense, yes, Capcom knows what they're doing as far as what their brand is for Street Fighter V. But here's my problem. Now the full game is out, and I know as somebody who's covering the game that the game is going to really improve as the months go by, and even this time next year, the game is probably going to be a totally different game. It's going to have a bunch of new characters. It's going to have all the modes are going to be intact. But right now, as a full price release, the game is weak. It's weak, and it's not weak for someone like me. Let me start off by saying I think the battle system and everything is well done. It's really well done. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm feeling comfortable. I'm starting to learn it. But for the casual audience, there's a lot of things, even in the training mode and stuff, that they are not really teaching and showing people how to really be effective and understand what the system is. They've made some efforts, but it's nothing that we haven't seen before. They haven't really revolutionized the training mode or anything about really how to learn the game and how to play the game. The online modes right now, you earn fight money to unlock costumes and some of the characters that are coming later on. The problem is that they're having server problems, and just like the beta, this game seems to really need to be on. It needs to be online. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. So if you're not online, if their servers go down, you can't even go into the survival mode or the story mode and earn fight money, which is the currency that they use so you can buy these extra costumes and these characters when they come out. That is a problem. So here I'm playing a game, server goes down. I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and, jump on to the story mode and mess with that because, the online, it's the first day and it's a little shaky. So let me do that. Well, I do that and immediately it tells me, hey, you're not going to earn any fight money doing this. So what's the point? If you have a single player mode that isn't really effective as a single player mode, then you don't have really a single player mode. And then if it's depending on it being online and your online isn't working well, then you don't really have a really good online mode either. So I can't earn the fight money. What's the point? Now, again, I know that this is going to get fixed, but my question is, why design the game to operate that way in the first place? Also, the character story modes. Now, we're going to have an official story mode coming out in June. where it's going to be like, I think it's going to be similar to what they're doing with Mortal Kombat X. But as of now, they have these like character story modes that are really just short, no real stuff going on. It's just these really crappy images, this really crappy artwork from a renowned artist or whatever, but it's just really poorly done. The dialogue is really poorly done. It just, and then there seems to be things like, I have a feeling that when they first were initially designing this game or had the plans for, I think they had plans for a lot more characters and a lot more stages. The reason why I think that is because already in some of the story modes, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there are characters that are in previous other Street Fighter games that aren't in this one, and it seems like you're going to fight them because it's the same build-up as it is for characters that you do actually fight. So I'm going to give you one spoiler, one little thing. Karen, she bumps into Sakura, or however you pronounce her name. And they're having this dialogue, and it's like, okay, you ready? And I'm ready. And you think that they're going to fight. And then that's it. The shit ends. And this happens on several occasions in the story mode. So that leads me to believe that they kind of left a lot of things on the table just so they can release this on a specific date. Also, the game has, and this is a trend that I was concerned about, I spoke about it in another video, but also I feel like there's been a new trend in fighting games where they're just going to limit us on stages and think that nobody's going to notice it. Killer Instinct, every single character that comes out, they give us a new stage for that character. And I love that because part of the character's story and design and just the whole part of the character is where that character is from, what environment that character is from. That's always been a huge thing for me in Street Fighter. And in Mortal Kombat, it's always been a huge thing, and they kind of limited us with stages, but Mortal Kombat didn't really have character-specific stages like Street Fighter. So I'm wondering, okay, Street Fighter comes out and we have 10 stages, 11 if you count the training room, and you have 16 characters. And then we have like, you know, a bunch of more characters coming out. And I don't know, they haven't given us really any indication. Are there going to be more stages or what? So we don't know any of that. We don't know what's going on as far as that's concerned. It does bother me. It's like I feel like I'm getting cheaped out. And here's another thing. None of the stages in Street Fighter V are blowing me away. They're nice. Some of them look pretty good. But I would say that Street Fighter 4 has way better stages than Street Fighter 5. Now on a technical level, graphically, maybe not. But it ain't that far away. Like for instance, Dhalsim's stage in Street Fighter 4 in many ways is better than his stage in Street Fighter 5. Maybe I'm nitpicking, maybe to most of you out there it's not a big deal. I don't know. I wish that we had more content. And I started this video talking about the casual market. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You want to attract the casual market? Give them single player stuff when the game launches that they can really grab on. Give them some kind of mode or training mode or challenge mode, which I know is coming, to teach people that fighting system. If you don't have that stuff in place when the game launches, then delay the launch. Instead, they bring this out, and the reason why they brought this out is, in my opinion, is so all the pros can practice, so that way they can be prepared more for the tournaments coming up like EVO. In the fighting game community, I feel like the community supports the games more than the publishers. And I think the developers kind of have to tailor their game around that, because they know that they're not going to get a lot of funding from the publishers to really promote the game. So they depend a lot on people like Maximilian and, you know, Ultra Chen, and you know, you got IGN right now. They're doing this series with Mike Ross and Combo Fiend, and they're, you know, playing the game with these two IGN guys that are total noobs to fighting games. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, they suck. And I commend the effort that they're trying to show, hey, we can play it. But when you watch those videos, it almost turns into like a big joke, because you have these casual guys that for already a couple of weeks, they're getting on there and they're getting coached by the pros, and they don't seem to be any better than what they were when they started. And I think it's kind of hurting the game, because if a casual person is tuning in, all it is they just see these guys mashing buttons. There's no real thought process on anything that they're doing. I just think it's kind of hurting the game. I know that that's not the intention, but that's what the results, in my opinion, seem to be. If I showed that to a casual fighting game fan, really, they'd rather play Mortal Kombat, because at least at the end of that match, they do a little certain button combination and they got this gruesome fatality that they can look at. Now, I know it sounds like I'm piling on, and I've been here for quite a few minutes really ripping the game to shreds, but you know, these are real, genuine concerns. And here's going to be my last two complaints. The second to last one is that on the fighting pad, it doesn't have a headphone jack. So if you're playing with your friends online and you're chatting with your friends online, you can't actually do that on the fighting pad that they've approved and released for Street Fighter V, the Mad Catz one. So that kind of sucks. And then the second thing is, it doesn't really matter if the fight pad, if you're a pad player, has a headphone jack in it, because right now, as the game stands, I can't match up and play with somebody I know. If I have somebody on my friends list, there's no way. They're not telling you how do you link up and play somebody you know. The only thing you can do is click on casual or ranked match or set up a lobby in the battle lounge, which only allows you to have 1 versus 1, which I know they're going to change that to 8. And that's where you're supposed to be able to search somebody's fighter ID and invite them into a match in a battle lounge. But every time I've attempted to do that with one of my friends, what ends up happening is that it tells me that they can't find that person. So here the servers are dropping. You can't really enjoy the single player mode. You can't really chat once you're in the game with somebody. Unless you're using a PS4 or a DualShock. And lastly, you can't even link up right now with people on your friends list and people that you know. So everything that Street Fighter V is supposed to represent, the big thing that fighting games is supposed to represent, where you're competing and you're playing against other people and it's, you know, you're supposed to be having a good time, a lot of that stuff isn't ready to go for Street Fighter V at launch. And that's the gripe of my video. So brings me to the question, does Street Fighter V suck? No, it's actually quite awesome for me, for veterans, for pro players. For everyone else, it sucks. Thank you once again for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more content, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Mastermind out.